Welcome back, guys. So today I'm going to be talking about my range bag. I've seen a bunch of different videos on YouTube about everyone going over their range bag and what range bag they use, and I noticed a lot of them are very expensive, whether they're Vertex bags or any number of other types and brands. And some of them are pretty cool, have little drawers and compartments and all different kinds of features on them. And they're neat, but they're really expensive. And honestly, I don't need my bag to be super crazy organized as long as it holds everything I need. And I've had this bag for at least 2 years, maybe longer than that. I don't exactly remember. I know my wife actually bought it for me for Christmas one year, so that was kind of cool. She gets awesome points for that. But before that, I just had like a small range bag. It was really just a duffel bag that I threw everything in, and everything get lost, and it was very unorganized. And I had, a couple other things I'd throw stuff in, whether they're ammo cans or whatever. But this thing has made going to the range a lot easier because I can just grab this bag and I just leave everything in it. And I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm missing something. The only thing I really have to grab is large targets and the guns and ammo, and that's it. Everything else, whether it's maintenance or just stuff I'll need at the range, is all in here. So I like this bag quite a bit. It's made by a brand called, I'll have to double check and make sure this brand still exists, but it's made by Explorer Tactical, and you can see it has a little tag on here. I wasn't exactly sure how good this bag was going to be based on just quality because it's a fairly inexpensive bag for what it is. But again, I've been using it for a while, and as you can tell based on the dirt that's all over this thing, like I take it to the range a lot and I throw it around on the ground. I'm not gentle with it. Whenever I get there, I plop on the ground. I don't worry about putting it on tables or anything. So it's got little handle straps, and this Velcro is all but worn out. I don't know if you can tell right there, but the Velcro is nearing the end of its life. But again, I take this thing apart all the time, so that's not that big of a deal. Velcro wears out, that's normal. The main compartment, and I'll show you kind of what I keep in my bag too, so maybe give you some ideas of things you might want to put in your bag that you might want at the range, or you're always forgetting or may not know that you might need because you haven't run into any issues yet. But everything that I have in here, I have because I've had to use it at one point or another, so I figured might as well share you some little tips and tricks while I'm going over the bag. So main compartment is separated into 3 different compartments. You can see it's got these nice little foam, let's see if I can keep that open. It's got 2 little nice foam separator dividers right here, and they're pretty nice. On the inside of here, there's actually Velcro. So on the sides, there's Velcro. So if you want to move these dividers, space them out, or just make it wide open, you can. Or if you have something else that uses Velcro to attach to stuff, you can put that on the inside, so that's kind of cool. It also has Velcro on the inside here, so you could move the dividers, kind of facing the other way if you want to. So you can kind of organize this bag a little bit how you want. I've always left in this configuration because I don't have a real need to move anything around. It works just fine how it is. So what I keep in this, again, and there's no other compartments or hidden features on the inside of this bag. It's just a big open spot with the dividers. So what I keep in here is 2 sets of ear pro. So these are just my Howard lights that I've chopped off the leather piece and put on this more cushiony piece. And the reason I did this, I don't know if I've actually gone over this or not, but if you have a tall, skinny face like I do, the Howard lights tend to not seal over your ears really well because on the back of my jawline is bony, right where it meets the ears. So whenever I put on ear pro, there's a little bit of a gap right there, and so I was never able to get a good seal with these. So I bought gel cups, and this is the second pair of Howard lights I put gel cups on. These are some no-name knockoff brands, and then the other ones I have are, I think they're Noise Fighter brand gel cups, which are a little bit nicer, and I think these actually might be the Noise Fighter. I don't know. Anyways, one of them, they have a little cutout right here for your sunglasses or glasses or whatever. I don't use those. I just put them on like normal and just have the sunglasses or shooting glasses, safety glasses, whatever, just go through here and the gel still seals up just fine. But I found that if you put the gel ear cups on here, that they seal a lot better. But even then, I was still having a little bit of a problem. So what I did is I cut off the leather piece. It looks similar to this Walker one, it's like a fake leather part that goes around the top. I cut that off, and then I got one of these cheapo, no-name, little kind of, I don't know what you call this thing, just a wrap around to go on the top of this. And it's got a little bit of, padding on the inside, but not a lot. So what I actually did is I took the pluck foam from the inside of a rifle case, little square pieces, and I lined it all on the inside of here and then wrapped it around. So that allowed it to sit up higher on my head, which then allowed it to seal properly. Because before I couldn't get these cups up high enough on my ear to where they would seal. So once I was able to get them up higher, they sealed. So I don't know, maybe that's useful for you. If you got a skinny face like I do, then that's a little pro tip. So I got Ear Pro, and I got the walkers, which, by the way, I've gone over this before. I'm not a big fan of the walkers because, and again, I have aftermarket gel pads on these. These don't come on there. These things are well used. They're really comfortable, and these actually seal better to my face naturally, and so I don't need that buildup. You can tell it's pretty well worn in there right there. But over time, whenever they're kept stored like this, you can see the problem. This pulls on this little wire where it comes out, and so this wire kept getting smashed over and over again, so the connection's kind of jacked up now. So I just put a whole bunch of tape and taped it into a position where it works, and so now it's fine. But that's just one of the reasons why I don't like walkers, because of where that wire sticks out, it just gets damaged whenever you store them, versus the Howard lights. And I've gone over this before, so sorry to beat a dead horse, but the Howard lights come out to the side where this doesn't impact it. So this is smarter. So walker, if you're watching, you need to move that wire to come out somewhere else. So anyway, so I keep that in there. Keep a spare set of shooting gloves, because why not? Protect your hands, or if it's cold, which it has been recently. Earplugs, because I double up on ears, because I was a percussionist growing up, so my hearing's already bad. I just keep this spare mag pouch, or there you go. There's the name, amberride.com. I found it on Amazon. It actually works really well. It's just a single mag pouch for my Glock. I use this for EDC whenever I'm going into an area where I feel like I need a fast reload. I keep dummy rounds. These are for a 12 gauge shotgun. These are nice to have whenever you just want to practice stuff. I don't shoot shotgun a whole lot, but it's nice to practice with dummies. So it's good to practice malfunctions. I also have the, what is it called? The Maglula, sorry, or Uplula, didn't pronounce it right. These things are awesome. So if you've never used one of these things before, they save your thumbs. You just put it over the magazine, push down, put up the next one, you just keep popping the rounds in. They work really, really well. If you don't shoot a lot, then you probably don't buy one. They're like $25, $30, something like that. So they're kind of expensive for what they are. But if you go shooting a lot and you load a lot of mags, especially if you go to like a pistol class, oh my goodness, you will want this thing. It absolutely saves your thumbs. The first day of the pistol class, I didn't use this thing and my thumbs were eaten up. The second day I used this and way better. So you're not a pansy, you're just being smart. So that's everything in that main compartment, and then except for some empty brass casings apparently. All right, so next, this is another thing that I use for the pistol class that we went to. This is just masking tape, so you can tape up holes on your target, so you don't have to put up a new target all the time. I don't use that all that often. I also have little stickers. I use these because generally we shoot out the bullseye on the target, and if you're not a good enough shot, then you may not need these, but whenever you're doing, especially up close shooting, you're generally going to shoot out the middle before the rest of the target's not usable. So just putting a sticker over the middle of it saves a target, especially whenever you're shooting something. Let's see if I can move this camera up. Especially whenever you're shooting something like this target right here, that's a full-size man target. You're going to shoot out the center before you shoot out the rest of it. So there's no reason to, waste another $1 target whenever you can just put a sticker over there that costs 12 cents, save you some money. So that's just being smart. All right, something else I have in here, duct tape. This is just the olive drab duct tape. It's just, I found this at Walmart. It comes in handy for whenever stuff breaks, or if you just need to fix something like, for instance, the little 1x2s or whatever they are, the sticks that hold up the targets on the target stands. People are terrible shots at public ranges, and so they shoot everything. So you can try to staple it together, or you can just duct tape the thing together whenever people shoot it in half, and then your target stand's messed up. I end up actually just bringing a bunch of spare those pieces of 1x2 just in my back of the truck, so I can just replace it if I need to, but duct tape comes in handy for all kinds of stuff. So targets, these are just the cheapo targets from Walmart. You got the little multi-targets. I use these for sighting and stuff, and then you got the regular bullseye targets you can put up. These are relatively cheap. Those are what I buy at Walmart most of the time. All their larger targets are kind of expensive for what they are. Again, that target I just showed you that was up here on the wall, I think they're like 50 cents, maybe, for that size target. Versus if you buy them at Walmart, you're paying the same price for a target. It's like a quarter of the size. So I usually just buy them online. But anyways, I also have some Dayquil in here because allergies are a thing. I have spare keepers in here that I didn't know were in there, so that's cool, I guess. So in this shirt, let me unwrap it over here. So this is a CMMG conversion bolt for my AR, or for any AR. It's a 22 conversion bolt. So you pop off this little protective cap and you can see this just goes, it replaces your bolt carrier group. So you take out your old bolt carrier group, put this one in place of it, and this fits down into the chamber, and obviously it's chamber for 22, so it's kind of cool. I was skeptical of how reliable this thing would be. So if you can see, hang on, hard to do it off camera. So if you pull back, you see it's a direct blowback. So if you've ever used a Smith & Wesson M&P 1522, it's nearly identical to that thing. You can look at the bottom. I think it actually works with those mags. I haven't actually tested that because it comes with its own mags, but I'm 99% sure you can use Smith & Wesson 1522 mags with this. But with the CMMG, make sure I got the correct number of M's right. With the CMMG magazines, I haven't had any malfunctions actually with this thing, and I've shot at least a couple hundred rounds through this thing, so it's fun whenever, especially right now, whenever ammo's uber expensive. That comes in handy. So I just leave that in there because I always have 22 in my ammo can. Another thing I have, and you'll want this if you live anywhere in the south or anywhere where it's sunny or in the desert, is just a Boonie Hat. I look dumb wearing this thing, but I look even dumber wearing a baseball cap. I have ears that stick out like Will Smith, so I can't exactly wear hats. They don't go good with me. At least that's what my wife says. So another thing I keep in there, and I usually take Sandbags with me too. They're like the nice, I don't remember the brand name, but Sandbags. But this thing actually works pretty well too. You just put this on top of like an ammo can, and then you got yourself an easy bench rest. This is just an old sock, or a couple old socks I have, and I poured a whole bunch of old airsoft BBs that I had from when I was a kid that I just never threw away. Poured them in here, and this thing makes a really good bench rest, and it weighs nothing. So that's kind of cool. So on the side compartment here, I keep a bunch of Glock mags. So these are all the mags that are actual Glock brand, I believe. Yep, they all are. And then in this little spot, which it comes with, so you can see you can fit any kind of magazines in there. It fits a bunch, so that's kind of cool. It fits 7 mags. And then I store a bunch of other just no-name. So these are, well, they're not no-name, but they're off-brand. So these, I keep Magpul, I keep those KCI ones. There's some of those, the clear ETS mags that I'm not a huge fan of, but they work at the range. So whenever I go to the range, I actually use these. That's why they're all disgusting and gross and muddy, because I don't clean them. But they still work. And I have a couple Ziploc bag trash in there that I think I actually had batteries in that I used last time, so I need to put some new ones in there. So one thing that's cool about this is this little pouch here is removable. It's Velcro. Get that out of the way. So it's Velcro on the bottom, so you can Velcro it in here. And this is actually a pistol case, so you can put pistols in here. But I generally only bring a couple pistols at a time, and I usually have them in a holster or on me. So I don't usually put pistols in here. But this bag's also big enough where I can put a whole pistol case in the main compartment if I want to. But it's nice that it comes with built-in ones. Again, I just use them for mags. On the opposite side, is another compartment that's very similar, except it has 4 rifle mag slots. So these are just, I think these are Brownell. Yeah, these are Brownell GI mags that I keep in there, just so I always have an AR mag in case I forget, because I tend to forget stuff whenever I go to the range. And then I just have more mags I use in here. These are some old military surplus ones that I found, you know, has the cool restricted law enforcement, which I think is neat. I'm a history nerd, so I enjoy stuff that just has things like that written on there. I think these are actually made in like early 2000s, so they may have actually been overseas at some point, which is neat. I keep a notepad and pen and a lighter. So the lighter is for whenever your equipment frays, or if your equipment frays, or if you have to tie off something, which I'll show you in a second. I have some paracord in here, so 550 cord. Sometimes I have to use that to repair something or tie something or whatever, and I just use this to melt the ends. So that's why that's in there. I rarely take notes when I'm at the range, but sometimes whenever I go to a class or something and I take this, I have something to take notes with in case I don't have my main notepad. So that's the other compartment, so that's nice. Has spot for rifle mags. In the side, over here, to make sure you can see that on camera. Yep, you can. Alright, so on the side, I keep a couple cans of spray paint. They have steel target. These are just leftover spray paint either me or my wife had from random projects. And so whenever you're shooting steel targets, you can spray paint over so you have a fresh target. And I just buy the cheapo stuff, again, from Walmart. But I happen to have a can of this left over, and I just use whatever I have. Something else I keep in here, and you're going to want to keep this kind of stuff in a Ziploc baggie. Ask me how I know, because it spills all over the place if you don't. So I just keep CLP in here, just a bottle of that. This stuff tends to just leak on its own. It's sealed off, everything's closed up. Sometimes it'll just start leaking, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, that's life. I keep some, this is actually shotgun grease. It's for the choke tubes, so whenever you put them in, you can get them out easily. I actually bought this years and years and years ago, and I threw it in there in case for some reason I need a little bit of grease for something, but it's not a permanent fix. This is not grease that you should really use to lubricate guns, but it's just in there because why not? Something else to keep in here, AAA batteries, because all my ear pro uses those, and usually I'm handing these batteries out to other people. AA batteries because a couple of my EOTechs run off AA batteries. And Sharpies because you want to mark your targets and your hits. You can also use tape for that as well, but generally we don't use the tape or the stickers until, you know, paper starts becoming where it's nearly impossible to tell. This is actually a cleaning kit, and it's for an AR. I forgot where I got this. It might be a surplus one, I don't remember. But the handle comes out, and you can see that here. It unfolds, and it folds back together, and so it kind of fits in here. But I don't use this for cleaning. I generally don't clean anything at the range. At most, I'll spray the gun with some CLP and call it good. But something like this is good for if you get a stuck case. You can smash it out, or if you get, say, a squib load, which I've had stuck cases and squib loads before. If you don't know what a squib load is, you should research it because they can be extremely dangerous. They can blow up your barrel. I've seen Glock barrels bulge and like the slide get locked back as it wouldn't go forward anymore because the barrel was so bulged because there was a squib, and then the guy fired the next round and the round got stuck behind there. Luckily, it actually shot out the squib round before it also somehow, and it didn't blow up the barrel. So that was kind of cool. But if the bullet had been stuck in there like it had when I was at the range with one of my other friends, and he was shooting a SKS, and we were shooting steel case, I think it was Tula ammo, and it was probably stored in terrible conditions or whatever, you know, at Walmart, who knows how they keep stuff. But we shot it, and it made a weird fizzle, and obviously I was like, that's not right, so we locked it open, and there was just gunpowder all over the place from the casing. Whenever we ejected, the gunpowder went all over the place, and so we had to use like this cleaning kit to knock that round out of there, because the primer had pushed the round just barely into the rifling where you couldn't just kind of knock it out. So you actually had to pound it out with this stuff. So you want something like this to be able to reach all the way down in there, knock out a case, either a stuck case or a squib. Something else I keep in here. Now there's parts of that cleaning kit. So here's a couple little things. This is just a small little multi-tool. It's got, you know, a knife and screwdriver and everything. That comes in handy sometimes. Whenever, again, your holster or screw comes out, because you should Loctite everything. Sometimes stuff falls out. Screws will loosen over time. Another thing, this is actually a paint can opener. I got a bunch of these things, and I got the idea from a dude who was over at Darcy, if you're familiar with that. It's a direct action resource center down near Little Rock, and I've been out there a couple times, basically as OP4 for them. They take volunteers, so that's fun. But we were going out there, and they get a lot of stuck cases because they use UTM rounds, and the UTM rounds are notoriously, well, they're not notoriously unreliable, but depending on your gun may not feed them. It may have malfunctions a bunch, or depending on how dirty your gun is. So they actually just hand these out to everybody in case you get a stuck case. You can just push this into the chamber, you know, use a little hook there on the end to grab the case, to grab the rim of the case and just kind of pull it out. So these things are awesome. I actually keep one of these in my pocket generally at the range as well, but I keep one of these in the bag because these things are awesome. And they cost like 25 cents from Lowe's. So if you don't have one of these in your range bag, you're wrong. Go buy one right now. Alright, so the last junk drawer that I got in this bag on this other side, and both of these side compartments are just open. There's no compartments on the inside. This side actually does have a zipper. Make sure you can see that on the camera. So this side actually does have a zipper right here where you can store stuff, you know, inside. I don't. It's just a weird, awkward zipper. I don't use it for anything, but you could. So I keep a stapler in here because you got to put up targets. Make sure to bring extra staples. Some ranges will have, like ours actually has staple guns out there, and they're almost always out of staples, so bring extra staples. Be everybody's hero whenever they don't have staples and you show up and you have some. The other things I keep in here is because we test optics and trade out optics all the time, is these things. So little Allen key wrenches. So these are the torque ones. You can see they're two different sizes. I think these actually might be the same. These are the same, but one's Stanley, which is a nicer brand. The other one's this cheap one I got from Walmart, and they're actually slightly different. They're marked as the same size, but some of them are tighter or better for other ones. And whenever you're using Chinese optics or, you know, American-made optics. The screws can be slightly off, so having a couple different types is good. And then I just got the Allen keys, which these actually are different sizes. One's metric, I think. So these things come in handy all the time, and they're pretty inexpensive. I'm pretty much the guy everybody goes to whenever something breaks at the range. So then you got, you know, standard multi-tool. This is some cheapo one I got years and years ago. It works. It's not the greatest thing on the planet, but I've used that a few times. A little flashlight. This is, hopefully you can see this in here, and it's in the Ziploc bag so I don't lose it. So this is a Magpul AR-15 front sight post tool. And then you got like a standard one for, it's just like a mil-spec one. But I use that to adjust, obviously, the front sight post on different ARs. I got a bunch of washers and nuts and everything. This is actually for our steel target that we take out to the range every now and then. So if I'm going to, not the public range that we go to, but if you, or I guess technically it's private, but if you go out to, say, out in the woods or someone's house or whatever, and you're shooting at your own range, we have our own steel targets that we use for that, and the bolts get shot up every now and then, so I just have spares to replace those in case it ever falls apart. I got a knife in here, and a couple carabiners, and the last thing is paracord. You might want paracord to repair stuff, and again, the ends are, you know, you can melt them with that lighter. So one thing I didn't show you that I meant to is this bag also has a shoulder strap, so you can see right here, shoulder strap. It's padded. It's Velcro, so if for some reason you want to take this off, you can. I rarely use the shoulder strap. I usually just carry it. And it also has little kind of rubber feet. They're kind of spiky, grippy. So it doesn't slide off the table. You can put it somewhere and know it's got to stay put. So that was a nice little added feature on that. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions of things that, you know, I could keep in here, or maybe you have something you keep in your bag that you think would be useful for people to know, go ahead and put it in the comments below. If you have any questions about this bag specifically, just feel free to ask me. I'll try to answer it, and I'll put a link to this. I got this, again, off Amazon. I'll put a link to it below, and I'll put the price somewhere in this video so you know exactly how much it is. But again, for the price, it's a really good bag, and I've had this thing 2 years, and I've abused the snot out of this thing, and it's still trucking. The zippers on this thing are not YKK zippers, so for those of you who want to know, they just have Explorer written on them, but they're really pretty heavy-duty zippers. They're not like the little thin ones that you would have on, say, just normal clothing, like, say, the zipper on, you know, jeans or something like that. They're not thin like that. They're really thick, heavy-duty zippers, and I've never had a problem with them. They're really smooth. They've never gotten caught or anything like that. So I love this bag. My wife did good picking this thing out, so hopefully this helped you all out. If you're looking for a range bag, I highly suggest this thing. And if you're looking for a video that have a whole bunch of, you know, what to keep in your bag, hopefully this helped out. So anyways, have a good one, guys.